Oklahoma, the highest remaining seed in the tournament. They will be the visitors today. Ella Parker, 2 for 4 on Thursday with the 2 home runs. She drove them all in their victory over Tennessee. And she and Cassidy Pickering have been lights out at the top of this lineup. 3 starters returning from last year's championship team, and 2 of them will get things rolling. And it's Cassidy Pickering, who hit a couple of home runs last year in the championship series off the Longhorns for Patty Gasso. Now in her 31st season at the helm. She's been in Norman since 1995. Ball. And the first team All-American steps in and takes ball 1 from Cavan. One of 6 Sooners with double-digit home runs. The team was second best in the country in that department.
And their slug is at the top. I mean, they can slug throughout the lineup, but a lot of times you kind of ease in with some short game. That's not pick and park. Last 5 games, 8 home runs between these 2.
With 20 runs batted in. As Pickering takes a strike, 2-1. Cavan named a second-team All-American. Threw a complete game, got the win against Florida, allowing just a couple of hits on Thursday. Only used 1 strikeout, guys. The defense behind her was terrific.
Well, that's what she's going to need. She's going to have to mix speeds like she did on that last one, 59-mile-an-hour changeup and pitch to contact. You're not going to strike out a lot of Sooners. This is a team that doesn't strike out much.
More walks than strikeouts as a team this year.
Ball.
Well, we start out with a full count for Tegan Cavan. This season, boy, tough sledding in 2 losses to the Sooners. Everybody else, she was sub-2 ERA.
Texas not afraid to shift their defense. Caden Henry playing that left center field gap. In fact, Katie Stewart all the way over, hugging that left field line. Leaves a big, mighty gap. Look over in right center field. That gap over there because everyone shifted to the left side.
Pickering, the sophomore out of Humble, Texas. 1 for 4 in their opener. And smashes that foul down the line. Well, we heard Holly and the report on Mike White. There's no avoiding the Oklahoma across the chest. So any advice for trying to overcome a mental block that they've had against the Sooners and break through here today?
Well, I think a lot of it is just worrying about the feet that are in the box, not looking at the uniform, and that is just...
See, she said she saw chalk. It was the dirt coming out.
But, you know, at some point, you know, Beth, you have to just focus on the game, throwing the pitch, executing, barreling up balls. It doesn't matter who your opponent is, it's the same game.
8th pitch of this at-bat. Pickering gets under it and sends it out to Caden Henry in center. 1 down. Here's Parker, the sophomore from Los Angeles. A first-team All-American again this season, even though she really has only played about half the year, and that hasn't been 100% healthy.
Ball.
Battling a lower leg issue in her right leg and foot all season long. Most of her time off the field, she's in a boot. But that hasn't affected her swing once she's gotten comfortable with dealing with it and handling the pain.
She's dealing with a lot of pain, so it's impressive that she's been able to figure out how to deal with it. You talk about the first 43 games versus the last 13. Wow. Are you kidding me? 500 batting average. 363 wasn't bad either, but got even better.
And just the power's return, right? 9 home runs in her last 14 games. I mean, she has just been swinging it.
Tegan Cavan with a 1-2 count. Parker slices that one out to center. Went down and away to get that one.
with 2 strikes as well. And you kind of see that front foot just kind of hover in the air, get down, and just reach. This is a pitcher's pitch. This is down at your ankles, protect. But then 71 miles an hour, she got enough barrel to get that through.
The foot issue doesn't seem to be too bothersome for her. She often will stay out there and run. And here's Nelly McEnroe-Marinas. Redshirt freshman with the captain C on her chest. Watched from the dugout as the Sooners won the title last year and knew she wanted to play an integral role in her first appearance here at the World Series. Ground ball to short, good to Bennett for the lead runner, and safe at first is Nelly Mack. 2 down.
This ball well struck, but right at good, and she's going to flip it over to Bennett. Bennett has to throw on the run when she comes over the bag. Good stretch at first by Mitchell, just missing out on that double play because Nelly Mack runs really well.
So here's Gabby Garcia, second-team All-American for the freshman out of Chandler, Arizona. She hit a couple of home runs in the regular season against the Longhorns. Following in the footsteps of her mom, Kara, who played in the World Series with Arizona State back in the early aughts. She had a hit yesterday. Gabby, not her mom.
I bet her mom still got it. I remember Kara Brunn.
She's a gamer. She's a baller.
Definite.
Ball. 1-1 misses away. Patty Gasso with the 8 national championships, tied with Mike Candrea for the most for a coach. So this would break the tie if she can bring home number 9.
Ball.
It's been an incredible run. A win today. They are into the semis for the 9th straight year. It's 5 straight years in the championship, with 4 of those resulting in rings. Garcia finds some green grass out and right. Nelly Mack motoring around to third. The throw is behind Garcia. Now she's in a pickle, and she'll dive back into first. As Good had her eye on the runner at third.
They work Garcia away a lot, but just they come inside and she smashes it down the right field line.
Does a good job with their hands getting to that pitch. Got lucky on this one, though. Big round turn. This would have been the last out of the inning. I'm actually surprised they didn't go after her. I know Nelly Mack's coming off the bat, but you get Garcia out here, it doesn't matter. They want Nelly McEnroe-Marinas to be able to cause exactly what she did, save Garcia from what was a big mistake in that big round around first. Yeah, Patty's telling her, get off, get off.
Gasso was trying to score on that one.
Yeah, she almost ran for her. But as a defender, you know, hey, I got 2 outs. She's hosed. Let's go after this runner. It doesn't matter what Nelly Mack wants to do at third.
So a big moment early for Texas and for Cavan with their struggles against the Sooners, trying to keep a clean slate for Mike White. His 8th trip here to Oklahoma City, his 3rd with Texas. Prior to that, 5 with the Oregon Ducks. The loser of this game will play Oregon tomorrow in an elimination game.
Ball.
And here's Sydney Barker, and a chance for a freshman to get the Sooners the lead. Two for 5 in the NCAA tournament with a runner in scoring position, has driven in a couple in the postseason. So far, the Sooners unblemished through the regionals, the Supers, in their first game here. As Sam Landry awaits the starting pitcher for OU today.
Call ball.
Sydney Barker, not a starter throughout most of the season, coming off the bench, a pinch hit, but Sydney Sanders went down with injury. She got an opportunity to really prove herself, and now they can't keep her out of the lineup. She was hitting in the 3-hole through most of the NCAA tournament. Just a freshman.
How about 8 starts in an 8-game hitting streak?
That'll do it.
Pops it up. Katie Bennett at second, gloves it. And Texas gets out of it. Longhorns picking up the bats when we come back. Championship hardware, 8 of those for Oklahoma. Texas seeking their very first as we check out the starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. And Thursday was unofficially Jolie Mitchell Day in Bevo Country with a pair of home runs as they beat Florida and got the 3-0 shutout. Katie Stewart also hit one out. And so here comes Texas for the first time to face Sam Landry, who's 5-0 in the NCAA tournament. She's won her last 6 starts, and during the regular season, beat Texas twice, once as a starter and once in relief. Transfer from Louisiana. The latest in a long line of outstanding pitchers for Patty Gasso at OU.
And look at immediately, Oklahoma goes to this unique defensive style right behind Sam Landry.
Ball.
Trying to counteract all that speed of Maloney in that leadoff spot.
There's no one in right field. I feel like that's the big yes. Everyone is now on the left side of the infield for that short game, but there is nobody, not even shifted over. You get the ball to the grass over there, I mean, that could be a home run.
That is the right fielder, Sydney Barker, currently playing second base. Adbayani has moved over to short. Garcia plants herself in the 5-6 hole against Ashton Maloney, one of the top hitters in this NCAA tournament. Went 0 for 3 against the Gators on Thursday.
Well, and as a hitter, when you see this defensive alignment against you, you know every pitch is going to be on the outer half.
She cannot come inside. If she does, it better be in, because Maloney is able to get around anything. She's going to have a whole lot of fun.
Ball.
Staying away, but missing the corner. 2-2. Maloney, the junior from Liberty, Missouri, has a hit in 9 of her last 10 and 61 infield hits as a slapper, third most in the country. Works the count full.
Funny, look at where those hits are. I mean, it's a whole heck of a lot of them, but a lot of them are short game over to where all of the Sooners are now playing defense. The analytics getting into softball, understanding exactly where the ball is going to go.
Chops that foul. Maloney, one of those 400 hitters at the top of this lineup. No longer the 40 acres at Texas, but the 400 acres at the top of the order. Another 3-2, and there is Garcia to make the play. Well positioned on the shift, one down.
This is the reason why Oklahoma does this. It's the shift right here. It puts Garcia in that 5-6 hole. Normally, if Garcia's in a normal position, that potentially is a base hit through the 5-6 hole, but nope. Garcia's right there to scoop it up. Can't get it past that wall there on the left side.
And not having to go to her backhand, but her forehand. Yeah. So it allows her to throw her out easier.
First pitch swinging for Caden Henry out of Dickinson, Texas. All SEC second teamer. So on Thursday, the 2 newcomers here to the SEC beat 2 of the old timers in the SEC to stay in the winner's bracket.
So Keaton Henry is very similar in that she will do a whole lot of short game, a ton of speed, but you see they're not shifting her. They're playing regular defense because Henry will spray it. She's got 3 home runs on the season as well. She can find a gap. You don't want to risk it as much with Kaden Henry.
Yeah, left side will be up, right side is back. That's Sid Sanders at first, way back behind the bag.
Ball.
Agbayani as well, deep in that second base hole. So expecting a little bit more power to that right side.
She's almost a perfect hybrid of the 2 batters that bookend her. Ashton Maloney in front of her short game, Mia Scott with the pop behind her.
Henry does have 22 bunt singles this season, but she'll swing there. Out chasing after. That's a single season record, 446 batting average. Big bats to follow after the speed here at the top. Scott and Atwood can change a game with one swing. They add the power to that average. Right back up the middle, and it will be a base runner for Mia Scott, who strides to the plate, playing now in her 3rd World Series for Texas.
This is a good 2-strike swing. We saw it with Ella Parker. This one's a little bit more elevated, but you see it's a 3/4 swing. She's just trying to poke this through the middle. She does that, and now the fastest runner for Texas is on first base.
Scott starting in her 251st game today.
Ball.
Was 2 for 4 in the opener on Thursday. Coming in here with a 7-game hitting streak in which she has 12 hits and 10 runs scored. Way back in the box with that wide open stance. Runner goes, the throw is a bit offline. And now a runner in scoring position after Henry swipes a base. Holly?
Well, she is fast for a reason. She is a state champion in the 100 and 200 meters. She has got blazing speed, and you saw it on that still. Dickinson High School, she was a standout. She could probably run track at Texas, too, but she's busy doing this in softball.
That's her 31st stolen base of the year. Using that track technique.
Well, and I think they're going to pick a little bit on Bella Emmerling behind the dish, because she has a tendency to not finish her throw, so the throws go off to the right side of second base. I think there's a big opportunity for Texas, if they can get on base, to try to steal some bases off her.
Yeah, she's only caught 3 of the 19 that have run on her. Scott appeared to be considering a bunt on that pitch. She's only struck out 8 times all season. Really good at putting the ball in play.
Ball.
And it is another full count.
Eyes and hands. That's Mia Scott. Great understanding of the strike zone. Watch her hands with 2 strikes. Her ability to be able to put the ball in play no matter where the ball is.
The opposite way, and that's a fair ball. Henry had to hold on it, so she goes to third, and it's runners on the corners with 1 out.
Great job, Mia Scott with 2 strikes. Just being able to put this in play off the end of the bat. But watch Cassidy Pickering. She's going to do it deep. She's going to pretend like she's caught this, which makes Kaden Henry have to hold. She doesn't do this. Henry easily scores. We just talked about her speed. This is a ball that she can score on easily. Nice heads up by Cassidy Pickering in left.
So now chance for Reese Atwood. And another throw down, and that's going to allow Henry to come in and score. Scott will motor around to third. And Texas, with speed on the bases, generates a run.
Well, I think that's what this Texas team has to do to compete with this strong Oklahoma team, is they've got to create some chaos for this Oklahoma defense. And so the takeoff, first and third situation, immediately, as soon as the throw goes down, Henry takes off toward home. Agbayani, the throw is going to float a little bit, so Emmerling is not able to grab that in. That allows Mia Scott to advance all the way to third.
So they score on a double steal and an error, and it's 1-0 Texas, and Scott now 60 feet away. And nobody happier than Reese Atwood herself that she can take off the bunt and swing it.
Well, and Oklahoma still has to be so careful with Reese Atwood right now. She sees a ton of walks, a ton of balls outside of the zone because she is the best hitter in this lineup. However, on deck is the home run hitter, Jolie Mitchell.
Reese Atwood, deep fly ball to Pickering, almost on the track. And here comes Scott headed for home, a race she will win easily. 2-0 Longhorns on the Atwood sac fly.
Boy, and that error by Agbayani, the throwing error that allows Mia Scott to go over to third. Just her second error of the season. A Gold Glove winner. Second baseman Agbayani is, but because of that error, Scott's at third, gives Atwood the opportunity for the sacrifice fly.
And that will bring up Jolie Mitchell, the grad student from Rosebud, Arkansas, with the 2 home runs on Thursday. A couple of solo shots. Just as impressive for Jolie, she sent one to left center and one to right center against the Gators.
Ball.
First Texas player to do that, hit a couple out in the same World Series game. Big start for the Longhorns, who have lost 22 of the last 25 head-to-head meetings, and they have not beaten Oklahoma in the state of Oklahoma since 2014. That's 25 games in a row.
It's been dominating. I mean, Oklahoma has just really had their number. They've intimidated them, and you could just tell that Texas rarely has played their best softball against Oklahoma, and I think that's what Mike White wants. He's like, let's just go out and play Texas softball, play our best version of ourselves.
Landry gets her upstairs for her first strikeout, but a couple on the board. One done. And our winners bracket Saturday. The winner moves on to the national semifinals. And it's Horns with the high fives early.
Welcome back to Oklahoma, where Texas has jumped out to a 2-0 lead over the Sooners. Well, it is quite a comeback story for the Texas Longhorns' Jolie Mitchell. You talked about those incredible home runs that she had the other day, Beth, but how about this? Back in 2021, she contracted COVID when she was playing at Notre Dame, but she got a rare condition afterwards, idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. She all of a sudden had 0 low blood count. The doctors said that it was a miracle that she was making it at this point. That's the first trip to the ICU. Her mom, Alexis, told me we had no idea that 2 times later we would be back with our daughter in the ICU as she was fighting for her life. She has made a full recovery, and here she is on the softball field pacing the Longhorns. Very resilient spirit. Her mom said it's kind of like a Rudy story, but for softball in Notre Dame.
She did start out with the Irish, 4 years there, got her degree. And actually, she told us this week she was watching Texas in 2022 when they were in the Champ Series. As an unseeded team, she loved their spunk and their fight. And she said, if I'm going to go play somewhere else and try and play for a championship, that's where I want to go. And a hero for them in the early going of this tournament. Here's Sid Sanders for OU, 6'7", 8", coming up to face Tegan Cavan.
How Tegan Cavan early on wants to live down in the zone. She wants those ground balls. It's what she saw in the first inning. Even the base hit, she'll take a ground ball through the infield. She wants to keep the ball out of the air.
Well, just to your point, that's exactly how she beat Florida in game 1. She's been outstanding here at the Women's College World Series as a freshman this year against Florida, and it's because she's developed a drop this year. She was very heavy rise ball last year as a freshman, a lot more down this year.
Ball.
She's 3-1 in her World Series career. The one loss was to Oklahoma. The 3 wins were all complete game shutouts. She beat Nigeri Kennedy twice last year and Keegan Rothrock on Thursday. So OU is the bugaboo for Texas, and they're trying to exercise that here today. Full count to Sanders, who's very good at drawing walks.
Ball.
And she'll get one there to lead off the second inning.
Kavana's done a good job of really creating more vertical separation this year. Last year, she was very heavy rise ball, almost 80%. This year, she's lowered the rise ball. She's increased that drop ball to 25% usage. And that's over the season. Here at the World Series, she has been a lot more heavy down ball, trying to induce those ground outs and let her defense play for her.
And a lot more of those drop balls on Thursday. Tim Walton was even talking about that in his postgame, the Florida coach. Yeah, you know, a lot more down than we've seen in the past from her. And she gave up just 2 hits to one of the best lineups in the country.
And I think the challenge for her today is that Chris Neighbors, the home plate umpire, has a little bit of a different zone, so not getting some of those lower pitches. So she's going to have to mix in a little bit more of that rise ball. Oklahoma's very good at laying off pitches out of the zone.
Alana Agbayani, one of the 6 new additions to the starting lineup this year. The transfer from BYU, originally from Hawaii. Looking for her first hit of the World Series. Walked and scored on Thursday.
That ball foul.
It was her 7th inning drawn walk that ended up being the big difference in that game. She got on base, Pickering singled, and that allowed Ella Parker to come to the plate and hit a walk-off home run.
Ball.
Sooners just have a way of being able to capitalize on the free passes.
Agbayani actually just moved off the plate. That 2 pitches before, she fouled one off her shin, and now she's backed off the plate, trying to protect Kavan getting in and inside on her. They come back there.
Inside pitch.
And that's going to be the key for Kavan this year is going, for this game is going to be attacking those lefties, being able to get them out. Her split on batting average against is higher on the for the lefties than it is the righties. And then maintaining control of her body.
5 lefties in the lineup today for OU. And bobbled by Katie Bennett at second, and everybody's safe. So we've talked about Texas. 5 losses to Oklahoma in the last 3 World Series. In those 5 games, 10 errors.
Well, this is well struck at Bennett, but right at her, and you can see she pulls up her head. She's thinking double play immediately before that ball is in the pocket of her glove, and it's just those little things. You pull your head up, thinking about how am I going to get it to my teammate Good coming across for that double play, and that's where the bobbles happen. Tegan Kavan is going to be very important for her to really work on her mechanics, keeping herself solid and upright. If you take a look at her, when she's upright, she has the ability to throw better through the zone. So you see on the left, she's more upright. Look at on the right-hand side, when she starts to lean, that's when she loses the pitch. Her arm hits her hip, and she ends up walking hitters or throwing outside of the zone. And take a look at her body position. That last walk, you can see to Sid Sanders. Look at the lean, and because of that, that ball slips off to the side. She doesn't quite have the control that she needs. Ends up putting Sid Sanders on base. And now with the error following afterwards by Agbayani, Oklahoma in a position with runners at first and second with no outs.
8-9 hitters are coming up. And what should have been a double play ball, now 2 aboard for Bella Emmerling. 214 hitter, but almost half of her hits are home runs. And she'll square around to drop down the sacrifice. Only play is to first. 1 down and 2 in scoring position. As Emmerling drops down her first sack bunt of the season.
Well, and I think that was an important call by Patty Gasso, because Emmerling being right-handed, opportunity to have a roll into a double play herself. I love that Patty Gasso says, no, we got to put a couple runs up on the board ourselves. We're going to sacrifice her.
That'll bring up Abby Dayton with a hit in 5 of her last 6 games. And Dayton drops that one on the grass in shallow center, and Sanders will score. Runners at first and third with 1 out and back to the top of the order.
How about first pitch swinging to Abby Dayton down here in the 9-hole. Excited for the opportunity to come up, runners in scoring position. This is on her hands, which is actually better for her because it's not hit all the way to Henry. It just drops in perfectly for a base hit. Sooners are on the board.
Bottom of the order produces a run with 1 hit. And a couple of free passes. 1 comes in to score, 1's at third base. Here's Cassidy Pickering, first pitch swinging. To the right side, a chance for 2 again. No. And Oklahoma ties it up as Agbayani scores.
Cassidy Pickering coming from that left side, opportunity to beat that out, and because of it, Agbayani giving her some love, coming in to score to knot up this game.
Ball.
Costly with the walk and the error as they both come in. And here's Ella Parker with 1 on. Singled out to left center, her first time up. Red hot this NCAA tournament, hitting .429 with 4 homers and 9 runs batted in their 6 games.
That's when you know you're hot. When you're swinging a pitch up and out of the zone in a place that like most hitters don't want to swing at, that's when you're seeing it big.
Well, and Jess, she's capable of hitting that out of the yard.
Well, you saw it even Thursday, 2 home runs, 2 different pitches. I mean, she was able to pull a ball down the right field line. That was early in the game against Tennessee, just to put them on the board, and this was what hurt. The very end, a walk-off, dead center field, low and out. I mean, find a zone for Ella Parker right now that she can't hit. It doesn't exist.
1-2 from Kavan. And Gold tried to make a spectacular play at second, keeps it on the dirt. But Pickering safe at second, and there are 2 aboard with 2 outs. And the infield hit for Ella. Don't think that one was in the zone either.
Now this is low and away, and actually her legs aren't even in this. This is all off the end of the bat. How about Katie Bennett, though? I mean, just to get to this ball, tried to flip it with the glove while she was diving, ends up getting caught. She almost was able to make that play.
Runner in scoring position for McEnroe Marinas. Chase is down and in at 70 miles an hour from Kavan. Oh for 2 against Tennessee on Thursday, reached with a walk. And Kavan's got a row 2. 50% of those hits on the year, extras. She's got Pickering at second, Parker at first.
Kavana's going to have to figure out how to get the lefties of Oklahoma out. Every hit in this game so far has been off of a left-handed bat. coming in with those splits were going to be tough on Kavan. Lefties hit about 85 points. There you see it, 85 points or so higher. 259.
Ball.
It's 259 left-handers hit off of Kavan. Righties hit just a $1.85.
Two runs across here in the top of the second for the Sooners. Gets her to chase the rise, and Kavan with her first strikeout. A couple stranded, but a couple in a 2-2 ball game.
Tegan Kavan going back upstairs against Nellie Mack, using that rise ball that she can use at multiple levels, gets Nellie Mack to swing through.
World Series in the NCAA tournament. It's the 8th meeting all-time. OU spotless. And playing in the Champ Series 2 of the last 3 seasons, both of those 2-game sweeps for the Sooners, denying Texas that elusive first national championship. Katie Stewart will start things off. 6, 7, and 8 coming up for Texas in a 2-2 game.
Ball.
Scored twice in the first. With speed on the bases, they were very disruptive. And now a slugger to the plate. Homer against Florida on Thursday. A couple of home runs against Michigan in the regionals in a single game. Top 10 in the country in runs batted in with 77. Comes in for a strike from Sam Landry.
She does such a good job.
Well, and she just really does a good job of stepping off. Look how far to the left she is. She's almost out of that pitcher's lane. She'll step far left and shoot that ball back underneath the righties. Trying to throw that screwball.
Ball.
She's really trying to work that angle.
It's hard for lefties, too. That was one of the toughest pitches to hit as a left-handed hitter. Righties, too. She creates a very unique angle.
Ball.
And ball 4 to Katie Stewart. Lead off aboard.
So this is what Sam Landry will do in order to really mix up her pitches. Look at the way she's really going to come off to that left side, almost outside of that pitching lane, so that she can shoot the ball back underneath the hands of right-handed hitters. Just a lot of movement. She'll throw a curveball across her body to her glove side of the plate, but she really likes to live on that arm side. Screwball as well as a backdoor curveball.
At the swing.
Snap throw down at first. Stewart is able to dive back in. To Leanne Good.
Ball.
And our rules expert, Christy Cornwell. Tell us about that pitching lane and what is legal and not.
Well, the pitching lane is the area that the pitcher is restricted to when she lands. However, in this case, if any part of her foot is on or touching the line, she's considered within the lane. So you can see on that pitch she was good.
And they got a double play. Sanders to Garcia.
Well, I think Texas is going to ask for a replay on this, because as soon as you take the force off at first base and you get out there, you have to then make the tag on Katie Stewart at second.
Ruling on the field is out at second base. Texas is challenging that ruling. The play is under review.
All right. Let's take a look. Oh, and her foot popped up. It looked like on the slide and may not have been down on the base. Here's a better angle. Ooh, is the heel in there?
It's hard to
Garcia's knee is blocking that look.
Call is out, so they would need video evidence that shows she's safe to change it. Yeah, the cleats got hung up on the dirt there.
Good job by Gabby Garcia, knowing that she's got to apply the tag. It's no longer a force out.
Oof. And the tag is applied, it looks, to the ankle or the top of the foot.
I mean, if they had called her safe, I would say she's safe. Because they call her out, is it enough to overturn?
Yeah, I agree, Jess. I don't know that there's enough video evidence to show that the foot gets there for the tag.
Yeah, that foot popping up in the air, I think, will prove costly. Much bigger target for Garcia. As it stands, it would be the 6th double play of the tournament.
After
for the
review,
Sooners.
the call is upheld. The runner is out. That's Texas's first challenge.
2 down. And that erases the leadoff walk.
28th double play of the year for the Sooners.
So nobody on now for Katie Simmons, who gets the start as a designated player today. Her 6th at-bat of the NCAA tournament. They've used several different folks as the DP pretty much throughout the course of the year. Mike White tries to find the hottest bat at any given moment. Katie has World Series experience and has it against Oklahoma.
Ball.
Mike White says sometimes it's just righty or lefty. Sometimes if we know we're going to need somebody who can bunt well down the bottom of the order, we'll go with her. All depends on the matchups. Here's the 2-1 from Landry.
Ball.
For Katie Simmons, I think it's more about a combination of contact. She's got some pop too, but who he's been putting in this slot have been a lot more power and less contact. They're going to strike out a lot more, and he does not want strikeouts. He wants the ball to be put in play.
Full count. Similar to the opener, Smitty, Landry's been living on the edge here with a lot of full counts, a lot of 3-ball counts.
A high pitch count, 35 pitches already. Just a 2nd inning.
And her 2nd walk of the inning. And now Katie Bennett will try and make amends for the error in the top half of the inning. In the 9th spot in the order.
This is the part of the lineup that Texas has really tried to focus on, just to try to make something happen, roll it over to those 400 acres, as you like to call them, Bimo.
In for a strike to Bennett. Oh for 1 with a walk against Florida.
Ball.
Go ahead run down at first for the Horns with 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 2nd.
Ball.
Missing to that pitch low in the zone that Sam Landry has been able to really target at the knees. Drop balls just a little bit low out of the zone. She's backwards this inning, 11 balls, so just 7 strikes.
Chops that out to left center. Dayton calling for it, and she's got it. Side retired with a runner left on, and a 2-2 ball game. Good reaction from the Sooners in that big double play to help end a threat for Texas. The winners today are into the national semifinals on Monday, just one win away from the championship series. Losers today have to come back and play elimination games tomorrow. Beth Mowins, Jessica Mendoza, Michelle Smith, Holly Rowe with you in this rematch of last year's final, won by the Oklahoma Sooners. In fact, OU has won 4 in a row, twice beating Texas. To the top of the third, it's Gabby Garcia and 4, 5, and 6 to face Tegan Cavan. Both their runs coming from the bottom of the order in the last inning. Garcia hacks that to second. Bennett with the range. 1 down.
Nice job by Bennett to go get that ball. Looked like it was going to sneak through the 3-4 hole.
That range. See the infield move different positions throughout the season.
Here's Sydney Barker. Popped up to second with a couple runners on base, so first time up to end that first inning.
Just to your point, that it all started, right? All that shifting of the defense for Texas all started at the Oklahoma series in Norman. They brought Katie Stewart in to play short, decided that they wanted Leanne Good to be able to go back to her original position, which is second base, even though now she's at that shortstop position.
It's unusual to have your left fielder be your shortstop. And right now, what was your left fielder be your second baseman? Those aren't where you see a lot of transition back and forth.
Well, and it didn't work great, which is why in the postseason, at this point in the season, they're like, all right, we need to make some switches again.
Well, of course, the reason that all started is because their All-America candidate and shortstop Viviana Martinez got hurt in the offseason. They had everybody coming back pretty much before Martinez got hurt. So this is by far the much more experienced group Texas is than Patty Gasso's club, with all the newcomers experiencing the World Series for the first time. Texas has several that have been down this road before, including Atwood and Mia Scott. Another chase of the rise. Strikeout number 2 for Cavan.
One of the things you know when you see the ball out of the hand of Cavan, she's got that multi-level rise ball, uses it again to give her second strikeout of the game using that rise ball.
What you got, Holly Rowe?
Well, right before that pitch, I saw Mia Scott go over and give some words of encouragement to Tegan Cavan. This is because of a meeting that they had before the NCAA tournament started. Tegan was saying, I need more support. In the circle, she had turned around and seen what she described as worried eyes from her defenders behind her, and she said, I need you guys to hype me up and get me pumped up. So Mia Scott, who's usually pretty quiet over there, is over there yelling at Tegan, walked all the way to the circle to give her some words of encouragement. Result, strikeout. That's teamwork.
Yeah, that took place in the Super Regionals. They had to win a couple of elimination games against Clemson as Mitchell gloves that pop up, and Cavan and that vocal defense get a 1, 2, 3 inning. Cleat that then ends up in the eyes of the Oregon catcher in their game last night. Never seen anything like that. Phenomenal.
And it was caught immediately, by the way, because as soon as they called timeout, showed that slow-mo, I've never seen anything like that.
Just when you think you've seen it all around a softball field over 30 years, nope, that's a new one.
Leave it to Brian Sachs and Wes Archer to catch that for us. And that
amazing crew.
That night crew.
Yeah. Saxy behind the plate.
Led by Seth Miller and Mike Griffin, our Dayside guys in the truck.
Amazing team.
Our spectacular crew here bringing you the sights and sounds of the day side with Carrie Callahan, Anthony DeMarco, and our cast of hundreds.
Ground.
Yeah, this is the 43rd Women's College World Series, celebrating the 20th anniversary of the championship series that started back in 2005. This year's will get underway when we get down to the final 2 teams. Best 2 out of 3 starting on Wednesday. And the semifinals, as you just saw, will be on Monday.
Ball.
Here's Ashton Maloney back to the top. Facing Landry.
Back to that shift. No right fielder, 3 on the left side.
Last time the shift worked, guys, for Oklahoma, as Maloney found the 5-6 hole blocked by the shortstop, Gabby Garcia, who had slid over.
Super unique to even look at, to see 5 infielders.
Yeah, and there's no secrets. Bella Emmerling, even the catcher, sets up early on the outer half of the plate. And there you can see them. They're all right over there. So Maloney.
So what I would see is right field.
Yes.
But I hit. So I'd be like, oh, please, please give me something middle in.
Is it at all possible, do slappers practice swinging away at all? Like in a situation like this, like, wow, would she be tempted to just try a swing once?
In a situation like this, but also I think, Jess, right, if there's runners in scoring position, a lot of times it takes the slaps advantage away.
Her strength is her short game. So if you're making her swing, you're winning.
Off the glove of Landry and scooped up at second by the right fielder Barker, but Maloney beats the shift.
Okay, you've got 6, including Sam Landry, who tips off her glove. So look at all the red that Ashton Maloney has to find dirt on, and she does it. To be able to get it off the tip to get to first base. You guys, this is so difficult with all of the defenders that were there. She figured out a way.
Here's Caden Henry, a single and a run scored back in the first. Dropping down a bunt, putting pressure on Landry, who fires to first, and the sacrifice moves Maloney. Holly Rowe?
Well, you can see Sam Landry making some great defensive plays out there. It's because she can really see the ball. She's been wearing glasses her whole life, but she does have a unique style. She wears the clear for the field, but in real life, she wears black frames. The famous legend that in youth softball, she forgot the glasses, her black glasses one day, so she was forced to wear the clear ones, and she pitched a perfect game. So now it's clear glasses.
Yeah, don't mess with the streak. Got the perfect game with the clear glasses. Might as well keep using them.
All the young girls that you see that now have the Sam Landry style, she should have a deal at this point.
Here's Mia Scott. Opposite field, out to Cassidy Pickering, and that will not advance the runner. 2 down. Interesting development here this inning. Mike White has switched from third base coach to first base coach. So the base coaches swap here, guys.
Well, watch where his eyes are. I mean, he's all about picking pitches. He normally is on that third base side to be able to see, but he's seeing something out of Landry from this side. So whether it's coming out behind her, whether it's something with her glove, this is what he's looking at.
Reese Atwood, first pitch swinging out of play.
Well, and he picked her changeup during the series in Norman, and so Landry made the adjustment to really bring that glove around her grip. So now he's trying to look in between the body and the glove, see if he can see something that way. Kristen Zaleski goes to the third base coach's box.
Well, and to get into her head.
Yeah.
Reese Atwood,
Ball.
big chance here. Last year, Reese set a school record single season for RBIs. This year, the second most RBIs in a single season, which has bumped her up already to #1 in her career.
Amazing.
#2 in home runs, and she's got another year still to go. Chance to give Texas the lead. Atwood skies that one out to Pickering, not deep enough. And Landry works out of the jam. 2-2 ball game. We'll chat with Mike White. Holly's got him when we come back. All right, Coach Mike White and his ace. Solid start. 3 innings, the 4 hits, 1 earned run.
Well, she got beat up in that series in Norman, but I love the way that she's been able to come out so far today.
Yeah, they got mentally beat up in that series.
And it was a slugfest. Tons of home runs, tons of runs scored.
Both sides, yeah.
For both sides. Coming off the 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd. Here we go in the 4th. It's 7-8-9 for Oklahoma.
Well, Mike White made a good point about that weekend of, not winning a game, and said if it's another Jersey that's not Oklahoma, we win a game at least. Yeah. But there has been something mental about when they see Oklahoma and then they get beat, it's like they're just automatically feeling like they're on their heels.
Yeah, a couple of close games that they just create a different mind shift. Probably in those games, winning those games.
Ball.
Fighting. This is a Texas team. They can be scrappy. They've got a lot of not just energy, but there's a lot of sass there. It did not show up that entire weekend, and that's a huge part of their game, is the fact that they do fight. They will make mistakes. They will lose, but how they respond.
Trying to get to the semifinals for the 6th time. They've gone twice under Mike White, 3 times prior to that with Connie Clark. Really good pitching from the likes of Krista Williams and Kat Osterman and Blair Luna over the years for Texas.
Ball.
And Akbayani draws the leadoff walk. Last time in the 2nd inning that happened, Oklahoma scored their 2 runs.
Well, that was kind of the nemesis as well for Carlin Pickens, right? The last 4 innings, 3 of the last 4, she walked the leadoff batter. I mean, walks are never good, but when you give them up with 2 outs, it's a little bit more difficult for your opponent to score.
Emmerling pops up the bunt. Easy play for Scott. 1 down. Tennessee, by the way, did stay on this side of the bracket, so the winner of this game may run into them again. Tennessee will play tomorrow against the loser of UCLA Texas Tech. That game is coming up tonight on ESPN. Six teams remain. Florida and Ole Miss have been sent home. We expected a lot of parity. There were 4 different teams that were ranked #1 at some point this season, including these 2. But it's been rough going for the top seeds. Look at all the toppling going on. So Oklahoma, Texas, and Tennessee, the only ones left. Those names in black all bounced, including Texas A&M, the #1 seed. Just the 3rd time in history that #1 is not here at the World Series. Five SEC teams made it, 3 remain. It's been 10 years since the SEC last won a championship. Florida went back-to-back in 2014 and 15. Since then, it's been a whole lot of Sooners. 2-2 to Dayton. Rolls 1 to second. Bennett. And they'll just get the lead runner. Good decides not to turn it. That looks like an arrival on the team bus for the Red Raiders. First time here at the World Series. They could be just the 3rd team in 25 years to get to the semifinals in their first trip. Most recently, Odyssey Alexander and JMU back in 2021.
Ball.
Oklahoma did it in 2000. That is the last first-timer to win the World Series. Hasn't happened in 25 years, and for Texas Tech as a 12 seed, they are looking to become the lowest seed to ever win the championship. Pickering coming back at us. Too high, too high. That was too high.
I was trying. You know, it was this game that I caught my foul ball in Norman.
You've already got one press box assist this year.
That's right.
Yes.
Katie Stewart, foul ball off of the down at Love's Field.
Big hands as a pitcher.
Exactly. Bam. Actually, I caught it with my right hand, so I protected the left hand.
Ball.
You know. Use the glove hand, not the pitching hand. Same thing with throwing punches, right? Don't use your
Bull Durham.
pitching hand. Bull Durham. Crash Davis. 2-1 pitch. Top coming back around again for the Sooners. 2-2.
That was a big swing, too, from Cassidy Pickering. That's why the pitch call was so perfect. 58 miles an hour, but did not get picked up.
Ball.
Full count.
Reese Atwood upset with that one, standing up right now, arguing what you rarely see from her. She turned around, had some words.
Yeah, shaking her head.
That's a pitch against this part of the order.
Dayton will be on the run from first. Pickering fouls that one off.
Same location. I think Cassidy Pickering knows, okay, I'm probably not going to get that call twice in a row. But for Tegan Cavan, when you're facing a batter like Cassidy Pickering, you can't have any missed calls.
No. I mean, it's hard enough to strike him out with 3 strikes, more or less 4 strikes.
Got her.
But she does it.
Strikeout number 3 for Tegan Cavan, and it stays 2-2.
Tegan Cavan has been using that multi-level rise ball, but she comes back to this off-speed pitch at 59 miles an hour. That over-the-top tight rotation is what fools Pickering, gets the swing and miss.
Sam Landry going back to work. 3 innings, 58 pitches, the 3 hits, just one of the runs earned. And she will get a closer look at 5, 6, 7. Struck out Jolie Mitchell her first time up with a rise ball. 2-2 to the bottom of the 4th, winner's bracket matchup.
Ball.
Winner here is into the national semifinals on Monday, the day off tomorrow, and then they would just have to win 1 game Monday to advance to the championship series.
Look how far Mitchell is up in the box.
Just told Holly Rowe after that 2 home run game, she likes to get to the balls before they break. So in Sam Landry's case, talked about kind of that screwball, curveball spin, even the rise up in the zone. She tries to meet it before it gets that spin.
How you reading that as a pitcher, Smitty?
Oh, you definitely know, and especially when you're working for that east and west, the hitter's trying to catch that before the ball really starts to move. And so usually what you think is a little bit more off speed, so you want to throw with a little bit more velocity, a little bit more off speed, because it's harder to read that in the front of the box. And you have to be a little sharper on your rise ball. You go upstairs, they're trying to catch it before it starts to move.
Ball.
And you can see Mitchell on that changeup really leaning, because you just don't have, it's crazy how that 3 feet gives you more ability to.
I hate it.
And yeah,
I would never
identify
move
it.
up. I was always back. It's hard enough to react. Now it's 40 feet.
Ball.
Yeah.
Tried to get her with the change.
Back-to-back changeups, both of them leaning. And I'd go back to that too, because you could see when she's leaning like that, she's not identifying it as early.
This is the 16th 3-ball count of the 2 games for Landry. Mitchell sends it out to right. Parker is there. 1 down. Well, the Women's College World Series Championship Series will begin on Wednesday. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Game 1 Wednesday, Game 2 Thursday, and then the if necessary on Friday night.
Come on.
What are the odds, by the way? Well, 85% of the national champions over the last 4 decades have started out 2-0. 77% of the teams that have started out 2-0 play in the finals. It's a big win for one of these sides today. 0-2 to Katie Stewart. Katie hit .444 with a home run against the Sooners in the regular season.
Ball.
Katie stays away.
Landry's off-speed pitch a little bit faster today at 59 miles an hour than it was the other day.
1-2 from Landry.
Ball.
Waste that one in the dirt. 2-2.
Ball.
Inside for ball 3, and another change now for Texas.
And I think Katie Stewart thought that was ball
That was
4.
ball 4. It's a full count.
And you can see the way that Landry, look how far
boy.
she is to the left, driving that screwball, trying to get underneath the hands of Katie Stewart.
That's out of the lane.
That is out of the lane.
She steps that way even with her curveball, but when she throws her screwball, she is really, really to the left.
So it's gone from an 0-2 count to 3-2. Steve Singleton is now the new third base coach. So they have 4 fresh eyes on the pitcher.
That was mid at bat, by the way, that he jumped out there.
Stewart outside the line and right.
I think a lot of that, though, the reason Singleton's out there, he's the one that communicates to these hitters. You see him walking all the way down to the hitters and coming back. For him to be able to be heard, sometimes in the dugout with these fans, it's a lot harder, but he's walking all the way to the hitters to be able to communicate to them.
Another 3-2 pitch coming. Counts up over 70 now for Landry, and it hits her.
And you can tell Landry is digging so deep in her glove to hide her grip that even just those little things create timing issues for you as a pitcher. Just even where that glove is, how high your hands are.
Mike White back out there in the first base box as well. Trying to find any little clue. Help the hitters know what's coming. In for a strike to Leanne Good.
I mean, he'd love to be able to pick something, but ultimately he's just trying to affect the pitcher. That's the biggest goal. Directly steering, try to change up the rhythm.
Good. And on the run is Barker, and took a circuitous route and does not get to that foul ball, which should have been caught for the second out.
And we've seen this a few times where the run is straight towards the wall. You see it off the bat. Instead of going towards the actual ball, you're going towards the wall. So you see her straight line going towards the line, and then the last second. I don't know if she would have gotten to it anyway.
A natural first baseman. It's only her 8th start out there in right field. Good with a 7-game hitting streak, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs so far in the NCAA tournament. Out in front. Second strikeout for Landry, 2 down.
Well, and that's the pitch they're trying to pick off of her. So you could see some emotion from Landry getting the strikeout of Good on said changeup pitch. You can see the over-the-top rotation, how she rolls that over. Look at the way that her hand's going to come over that ball. That tight rotation down. Good swings through it for the second out of the inning.
You don't see that emotion, that yelling from Sam Landry. There's another notch of what's happening right now between everything that's going on with Mike White moving to the first base, staring into her glove, the last hit batter.
Here's Katie Simitt. Walked her first time up. Bottom of the order, trying to get something going here for Texas. Right back up the middle and a base hit. Stewart will hold it second, and now the go-ahead in scoring position, and it's Katie Bennett. Does Texas choose to put out a pinch runner at second for Stewart here as the go-ahead run? Looks like they're gonna stay as is. And it flew out to center, back in the second with a runner on base. Texas led 2-0 after the first inning. Oklahoma answered right back with a pair. And now the Horns trying to take that lead back.
Ball.
And this is big right here for Bennett in the 9-hole. If she can just somehow work a walk, somehow get on base, turn over that lineup for Maloney, Henry, Scott, and Atwood.
How about some Sunday night baseball coming your way?
How about it?
Dodgers took the opener over the Yankees. I'll beat you to the punch on that one, Jess. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown.
Aaron Judge had 1 home run that was hit a mile.
Yes.
Ohtani had 2, so just saying.
Judge's was kind of Ella Parker-ish. Ella hit one over the bleachers at Love's Field.
She hit hers farther.
NCAA tournament. And right into the glove of McEnroe Marinas at third. And that will end the threat.
Speaking of Ella Parker, guess who is picking up her base hits all day long? That is a win for Texas. So what do they need to do? Tegan Cavani to stay down in the zone, let her hit base hits up the middle, but keep it in the park.
Got her to swing at that. 0-1 from Cavan. 2 sophomore All-Americans going head-to-head for a spot in the national semifinals for either Texas or Oklahoma. And Parker gets a hold of one and not enough. Henry to the track. 1 down.
Oh, that's a big exhale. You could almost feel it from all of Texas's team. Change up first pitch, then comes something a little more up in the zone that Ella Parker just misses. It is hard to get her out, you guys, and that is a big one.
Well, and the reason they get her out and the reason she just misses is because of that changeup, right? So she's just a smidge late, and that's really what it is. You're upsetting that timing of the hitter.
Ball.
Tegan Cavan, the version here in Oklahoma City that's been different from really the regular season is not trying to get the swing and miss. She only had 1 strikeout in their win against Florida, and then her right now just being able to pitch to contact. Trust that defense. I know it's burned her earlier in the game, but she keeps coming back. When she's trying to get swing and miss, her pitch count gets elevated. She puts more pressure on herself. But right now, it's about, okay, put the ball in play. I trust those behind me.
McEnroe Marinas, swing and a miss. Yeah, Cavan's confidence seems to be growing with every pitch. Trying to find long-term success in a ball game for the first time against Oklahoma. Been so strong against just about everybody else over the course of her 2 years in Austin. The other thing, of course, is the winner of this game knocks the opponent into the other side of the bracket. You would not see them again until the finals if they can advance through the other side. Either UCLA or Texas Tech, the loser of the game tonight, will cross over into this side of the bracket.
We need a whole visual for how all of that works.
You need a trigonometry degree. And a called strike 3. Number 4 for Cavan, who has not given up a hit since the 2nd inning, Michelle.
Yeah, and that's a curveball in the outer half. And Nellie Mack, she must have been looking for something else, because this looks like a good pitch on the outer half, and she looks like she's trying to take that walk. So it's got a little bit of curve, a little bit of down. Cavan using that pitch on the outer half. That would frame it up. 4th strikeout of the game.
I'll bring up Gabby Garcia. Cavan had a 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd, trying to get another here in the top of the 5th. And doing it against 3 powerful hitters.
Gabby Garcia is so unique, and we see this with a lot of Oklahoma hitters. Just understanding their natural ability. Call it motor awareness. For Gabby Garcia, it's about her hands and the placement. Where they're at in relation to her body, something that JT Gasso, their hitting coach, noticed with her. And it's like this when she fields too. The closer her hands are to the ground, the more powerful she is. And so a lot of times you don't want in softball, especially, your hands to drop down, but her hands will. They start there, but as she gets into her swing, they'll come down towards her belt.
Oh, and a ground ball, and it spins the other way on Jolie Mitchell, who was headed for the bag. And a base hit for Garcia.
Gabby Garcia, just a little bit of funk. You see how low her hands get. I mean, this is to the belt. Now, she kind of hits that. She comes up and over the top, but look at the spin.
Wow.
That is not Jolie Mitchell's fault. That's a good 3 foot. She like cut the ball instead of hit the ball.
Yeah, that's like almost tennis. That top spin on it.
But it's because of where her hands start. So she came over the top from underneath, which you don't see in softball. A lot of times it's high to low, not low to high.
Got a pinch hitter coming up now for Oklahoma. Hannah Core will hit for Sydney Barker. Hannah is 6 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. Has spent a lot of time in the starting lineup in the outfield as well for the Sooners this season. She had one of the best defensive plays of the tournament so far, a la Bo Jackson, an outfield assist, doubling off a runner at first base on Thursday. Came on as a defensive replacement. Two for 3 so far in the postseason.
Love seeing strong arms in the outfield. It's one of the coolest parts when you can make an assist. A lot of self-talk too that Oklahoma, these hitters, you'll see as we kind of zoom in, and this is a big part of what they try to do is speak it out loud. Speak what you want to do. Keep it simple. But don't just think it, say it out loud, and you can kind of see as they get in there the big deep breath they take, but then also the words that start to come out of their mouth.
Hannah Core and Mia Scott at third base. Already write her down for the all-defensive team at the World Series.
Best third baseman here in Oklahoma City. Why? Look at the drop step. It's all about the react, going straight back. There's a good 10 feet she covers to save her pitcher. What do we say? It's not about the swing and miss when you got the D behind you, like Mia Scott.
Uniform, but 5-0 this postseason with a couple of shutouts and 26 strikeouts. Her 2 seasons at Stanford, they reached the semis. If she can beat UCLA tonight, she'll reach again with a different club. The biggest transfer of the NIL era now in Lubbock, and a ground ball to Bayani, one down. As they are able to take care of Maloney.
Hannah Core is going to stay in this game. Went in for Sydney Barker. She's out in center field. Cassidy Pickering stays over in right. Dayton still in left, although with the shift, they were all over the place.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of who's where.
Now Mike White out there having a conversation with the home plate umpire, Chris Neighbors. Susan Eads, Chelsea Clark, Aaron Peterson on the bases. White has moved back to the third base box. And Kristen Zaleski is out there at first base, moving their coaches around. Not sure if that, are they asking about a substitution?
Obviously checking the lineup, so Hannah Core came in for Sydney Barker. If there was anything that was wrong, she's obviously staying in the game now. Kristen Zaleski is kind of a professional at understanding lineups. Texas complaining if they didn't properly report.
For clarification, there was a temporary defensive shift by Oklahoma. It is legal. Play ball.
Texas is arguing they have to report what outfielder is coming into the infield. This is the replay. You see the shift, 5 infielders, no one's in right. This is the 3rd time this game that they have shifted against Maloney.
That was actually the center fielder that was on the dirt making that play. Here's Caden Henry, and she swats one deep down the line, and she yanks it out for a home run. Just her 4th of the season, and Texas is back on top.
We talk about the versatility of Caden Henry. I mean, she got on base, first inning, came around to score. She had that stolen base. Holly Rowe talked about her speed, how ridiculously fast she is on the base pass. But we also talked about the ability for her to stand in. Look at this changeup. She recognizes it in the bat speed. In fact, her legs get ahead of her hands, but her hands are just as quick as her feet. She gets this thing out of here before she's even out of the box.
Big swing for Texas in the bottom of the 5th, and a 3-2 lead. Henry's first round tripper at the World Series.
Oh, tears for Mama. I love it.
Yeah, that was amazing. First pitch swinging.
Oh, I feel you, Mom. I do. I've been there.
These are the moments for a Texas team that is 0-for against Oklahoma at the World Series. Have never beaten them. Just in their last 3 trips, they are 8-0 against any other opponent, but 0-5 against Oklahoma. Mia Scott, right back up the middle. Her second single of the day.
Kaden Henry has come so far, too, as a player, as an athlete, and her ability to be able to stand in and hit away is something new, part of her game that she's worked on. No bigger moment for that hit away swing, you guys. Something she's relied so much on the short game, adding to her game this year. I know just 4 home runs on the season. It's why they don't shift. It's why they respect the fact that she does have pop in that bat.
Ball.
She told us this week in our interviews that the key here in Oklahoma City is to take care of the small things and some of the big things. And perhaps the biggest swing of her career. Winner is into the national semifinals with a day off tomorrow.
Well, and what's unique is Texas is winning games right now without their home run hitter hitting home runs. The home runs have come from Jolie Mitchell behind her. 2 on Thursday. Katie Stewart had a solo shot. Kaden Henry in this one.
Well, that's normally how you win championships, right? The entire line has to step up.
A rocket right to Nellie Mack and a double play. That ends the inning, but Kaden Henry puts Texas on top.
Kaden Henry getting it done. Tie ball game. Henry sending this one out, screaming around the bases, not just using her legs. Good shot of the hand.
After Kaden Henry's solo blast, I don't know if we can call it that. It was
a blast off the bat.
down the line. Got out in a hurry. At a 3-2 Texas lead. Back to work for Tegan Cavan against Sid Sanders, 6, 7, and 8. And just like that, the Sooners have 6 outs left to work with. They rallied for a win on Thursday. Can they do it again?
Tegan Cavan has been good so far using a mix of pitches. It's that rise ball at the top of the zone, but it's also her ability to mix speeds. 57 miles an hour. Look at the difference between the 69 miles an hour on the top, 59 miles on the bottom. Look at that variation of velocity of when that ball is showing up. The adjustments you have to make as a hitter. Cavan doing a good job of trying to limit damage. Just gives up a hit, though, on that changeup.
Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Well, Tegan Cavan was struggling late in the season, and Mike White has really, really worked with her on getting back to some of her technical plan. He said, I want you to be analytical and throw a quality pitch with intent. Work on the movement patterns, tighten your spins. But the thing he's really worked on her with is her mindset. He said, an A game from a pitcher only happens about 10 to 15% of the time. The truly great pitchers figure out a way to battle and win with a B game. So Tegan out there playing great, but she's really got to continue to fight hard to close this out with the lead.
Well, it's been a huge reliance on the D behind her. And what I love about the velocity difference and how you see, it's almost like you want to get a tape measure and see that's a difference of 5 to 6 feet of where the ball and where you're making contact. And that's what she's done such a good job of. Keeping these Oklahoma hitters off balance. Even Sid Sanders, though, finding a way to get on base now. Pinch runner Tia Malloy at first base.
Tying run is aboard for Ilana Agbayani. Reached on an error and has walked today. Scored a run. Oklahoma has won 22 of their last 26 games here at the World Series. But not many of those have come when they've fallen behind late in the game. They did rally for the win and a walk-off home run, trailing 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning on Thursday night against Tennessee.
It's a team that wins with slug. And you give them opportunity to be able to get the ball in the air. And that's where Tegan Kavan has been trying to keep the ball down. Going up for chase, but down for contact.
Agbayani grounds it to Bennett, who will make the play to first. Tying run in scoring position with 1 out.
Well, just to your point, if you give Oklahoma opportunities, eventually they will win the opportunity, and that's what happened against Tennessee. Too many free passes, positions where they have the opportunity to walk it off. Oklahoma, they call it Sooner magic. They just have that innate ability to figure out a way to get it done.
Patty Gasso is going to go to a pinch hitter here in Maya Bland. I mean, it's been a different type of season for Gasso and the Sooners with all the newcomers, that great senior class that left winning 4 straight national championships. She was telling us this week, we love having the doubters out there who don't think we can do it again. She talked about Thursday. We saw fans leaving and not believing in us that we could finish it off, which they did. I'm not yet ready to call them underdogs, but they are embracing a different feel with youngsters going through this experience, many of them for the first time.
They're the number 2 seed. They're the highest seed.
Yeah,
so
they are.
We can't call it.
But I think they believe they are.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. They don't feel like they're the target. I mean, it's a different vibe. This team versus that senior class last year that felt all that pressure. They weren't smiling as much. They knew they had to win. That was the only expectation.
And Patty, similar to all the successful coaches in other sports, it starts with fiercely competitive practices. I mean, you got to work your tail off just to break into this lineup. You know, there have been a lot of transfers that have come and gone, trying to figure out what they call the championship mindset.
Think about Sydney Barker working her way into this lineup. She was in the 3-hole during the postseason. She struck out in the 2nd inning, you guys, or 3rd inning, and now she's on the bench. I mean, it happens fast.
And then Maya Bland, who is pinch hitting here, she was fabulous through the middle part of the season. She had some pitch hit home runs, big one against Oklahoma State, Alabama.
That one rifles over the head of Atwood, and Malloy at 3rd base, 60 feet away from tying it up with 1 out. And these are the kinds of moments that Texas has to weather. If they want to take down the Sooners, and Reese Atwood recognizes that, and the veteran will go out.
I think they're going to talk a little bit about the defense. The middle infielders were in, the corners were in. Understanding the gravity of the situation with just 1 out and a runner at 3rd. Everybody needs to be on the same page.
Catchers around the country are rejoicing right now. This is the job, not just as the backstop, but as one of the quarterbacks, keeping everybody together.
No coach in that circle. It's your peers.
Can they get over this hurdle? Time and time again, the Sooners knock them off and sometimes knock them out. In for a strike from Kavan, and she shows some sass in the circle.
Reese Atwood, one of the best in the business at setting up that strike zone, holding that so that she gets that and steals that strike. Chris Neighbors behind the dish calling the strike 3. Massive out for Kavan.
An assist to Atwood, her catcher. That's the 5th for Tegan. And now it's up to Abby Dayton to try and get that tying run in. against the Texas fight.
Ball.
A moment that it feels like not just a game changer, but a program changer for Texas. One and two.
Rise ball, extra bite. Abby Dayton unable to hold back. Strike two.
Dayton fights it off.
Abby Dayton, really good two-strike hitter. Big reason why that last foul ball, you'll see her kind of go to a three-quarter swing. Now she's more about putting it in play. Has ability to lengthen it bat with a lot of foul balls.
Ball.
Dayton doesn't chase. Bland awaits at third.
Easton strikes. Tegan Cavan, anytime she'll pitch it in the zone, Dayton fouls it off, waits it, wants Cavan to give her a mistake.
It'll be interesting to see if Cavan, if they come back here with something off speed.
It's got to be down.
That was off speed, but it was up.
One out of two.
Lucky. She got lucky, no, but that's the one that gets dropped into the outfield for a hit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Could not hold on to that, and now they'll tag out Dayton on a third strike to end the inning. And Patty Gasso will come argue that was a foul tip that was dropped.
It was a foul tip, which is why Abby Dayton didn't run. It's honestly right why Reese Atwood did not immediately react when she dropped it. She was mad at herself for dropping it. She holds on to it. It's strike three and it's an out.
Rise ball.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she had it in the glove and it popped out. I don't think the home plate umpire thought that she dropped it.
We have a foul ball. Foul ball. The count's 2-2.
You can hear it.
Well, I think Cavan knew it too. She saw it pop out of the glove. So Dayton stays in there. Texas, they had all left the field. They will trot back out. Again, Tia Malloy, the pinch runner down there at third, trying to tie it up for the Sooners.
This is what Abby Dayton does. You guys, we've had a lot of Oklahoma games this year, and we've seen double-digit pitch at bats that Dayton will force a pitcher to do.
Just lots of foul balls.
5 straight for Dayton, including the one that was dropped.
Can Cavan overcome that with Atwood in the drop third strike?
Well, this is where Reese is trying to keep her focus and make sure that, look, you cannot make a mistake. When I call this pitch, it's got to be here. You have to stay, not just with your pitches, but also the location.
A freshman All-American last year, a member of the All-World Series team. She was lights out. Cavan's 2-2. Pops it up. Scott, does she have room? In foul territory, she's got it. Snow cones it, but holds on. And Kavan works out of the jam.
Love the way that Atwood is going to go out and talk to her sophomore catcher. They induce the pop-up, and Mia Scott able to get under it to get the third out of the inning with the
Saturday showdown. The last time Texas beat Oklahoma in state, 2014. The last time they beat them at the World Series, never. A one-run lead with at least one more set of swings per side. Here's Jolie Mitchell, 5, 6, and 7 against Sam Landry. Jolie on a 7-game hitting streak. It's in jeopardy right now. She's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout.
She's been way out in front of that changeup. Sam Landry's been giving her a big dose of it all her at-bats.
Oh, by the way, in the top of the 7th, Oklahoma will bring up Pickering, Parker, and Nellie Mack.
Of course they will.
Of course.
7th inning.
Wouldn't have
Giant
any other
rivalry
way.
game. We scripted this.
Mitchell gets a hold of one, launches that, and Jolie Mitchell has her 3rd home run of this World Series. And a big bonus on the scoreboard for Texas.
Remember, we talked about this. Jolie Mitchell loves to get up in the front of the batter's box. We don't see anyone here in Oklahoma City get in the front of the batter's box. That's been Jolie Mitchell. She hit 2 home runs back on Thursday. Look at, because she's up in the front, she gets on top of the rise ball. This is a pitch. If she's middle to back, it's out of the zone and she pops it up. But because she's at where she's at, she meets it as long as she gets on time, which she does. 17th home run of the season.
Here's Katie Stewart. She and Jolie went back-to-back with home runs on Thursday.
And that rise ball came in at 64 miles an hour, is a little bit slower than some of the other rise balls that Landry had been throwing.
Base knock. Out into left for Stewart. Aboard for the 3rd time today.
Mitchell, see where she's at. That front foot gets to the very top. You will not see another hitter here unless they're a slapper. Get up there. To be able to stay on top of that pitch that, by the way, struck her out her first at bat. Adjustments being made in game.
Ball.
And now Bella Emmerling wants to chat with Landry.
Yeah, Emmerling doing a good job of bringing that ball back in. Rise ball almost got away from her. Home run ball.
Well, the Mitchells, I don't know if I don't think Skip's ever going to get on that fishing trip.
No.
She keeps hitting taters. He's got to stay put.
They got a grocery bag of softballs now, too.
4-2 Texas. Remember, Oklahoma erased a 2-run deficit in the 7th Thursday with a walk-off home run. Here's Leanne Good. Hit into a double play and struck out. 100th pitch of the day for Landry. Akbayani gets the lead runner. And that'll be it. Safe at first is good. 1 down. course, the other big thing here is the loser of this game has to come back and play tomorrow. They would face Oregon tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Big question, too, and I know they're not there yet, but you mentioned who's coming up for Oklahoma. Cassidy Pickering doesn't get on base. Do you even pitch to Ella Parker? I mean,
Well, now that you have a 2-run lead, it's
You could consider it,
you
right?
could consider it, or just intentionally
Ball.
pitching outside of the zone and see if she chases anything. Because if you put her on, then you're still walking up the tying run. Yet all those tough decisions.
That's how dangerous she is. Backs up Garcia. Miami turns. And they'll get the lead once again, 2 outs. That was the conundrum for Tennessee and Karen Weekly on Thursday, and that's what Karen Weekly talked about post-game. Said, you know what, we didn't want to put the winning run on base. But Ella said, well, allow them just be the winning run at the plate. A lot of tough decisions for these coaches.
Karen Weekly, Carlin Pickens, too.
Yeah, I think you have to look at who's done what earlier in the game. I think in the Tennessee game, it was looking at who else was hitting behind Ella Parker. Ella Parker had done the damage, so it's easy to not. But this game, Nellie Mack Garcia's got 2 hits. I don't know that you want to pitch to her.
Yeah, Nellie Mack does not have a hit yet in the World Series. She is Parker's protection. Does have a walk. Here's Katie Bennett. Runner goes, and sliding in safely with the stolen bag is Adea Wallace, the pinch runner. Can Texas get one more? Bennett 0 for 2 in the 9 spot in the lineup.
Ball.
And now Jen Rocha will come out and chat with Landry. No activity in the bullpen, so just trying to get everybody settled down and on the same page.
It'll be interesting to see how Oklahoma plays this, if they're going to have Nellie Mack at third come up in case Wallace were to try to steal third, try to force a bad throw from Emmerling, or if they would have Garcia play a little bit more toward third, and it'd be a foot race between Wallace and Garcia to the bag.
The speed was disruptive, Michelle, in that first inning with a stolen base and an error to get a run in.
And I don't think it's a bad idea to try to potentially force that. Bennett in the 9 hole is about a 250 hitter. You could get maybe an errant throw and steal another run.
Well, the outfield's also way in, so base hit's not going to score.
Yep.
Wallace.
It is 2-0. If Wallace could walk, then it turns over the lineup. Excuse me, Bennett.
Bennett sends a flare out to Abby Dayton, who backs up to make the catch. But a run in off the bat of Jolie Mitchell. A 2-run lead for Texas. Is it enough against some of the best hitters in the country? That was the wild scene on Thursday in the opener for the Sooners, a walk-off win. Their last loss prior to the semis was 2021 against James Madison. Oh, by the way, they came back to beat JMU twice in the semis and win the title that year. They are down a pair. This time around, it's in the top of the 7th, so looking to tie it up or grab the lead as Tegan Cavan tries to shut the door and get the Longhorns one of the biggest wins in school history. They have never beaten Oklahoma at the World Series. Pickering and Parker, the 2 All-Americans, the first 2 to face her. 2-2 from Kavan.
Ball.
No chase.
Pickering last at bat, struck out on the changeup, had a hard time recognizing. Kavan kept it down in the zone.
Did she check it? No. And a strikeout for Kavan. Number 6, 1 down.
Tegan Kavan goes right at Pickering with the rise ball. 4 consecutive pitches. The prior one elevated way out of the zone. This one she brings back a little bit closer. Pickering bites at it, can't hold up. 6th strikeout of the game for Kavan.
Here's Parker, and the key here to this at-bat, nobody on base, no chance to tie it with 1 swing.
Good ball.
And hits her. And now that opens the door for 1 swing to tie it.
Trying to get in underneath the hands. A couple of Parker's hits were on pitches on the outer half, trying to challenge her inside, and a little bit of a miss.
Texas 20-2 all time when holding Oklahoma to 2 runs or fewer. That's where they're at right now. But the Sooners have a base runner here with 1 out in the top of the 7th. They have lost 22 of the last 25 games to the Sooners. They have not beaten them in the state of Oklahoma in 14 years. They're on the brink. The winner is into the national semifinals. The loser on elimination game with Oregon tomorrow night. And here's the captain, the redshirt freshman Nellie Mack.
First pitch. Ends up swinging at a changeup in the dirt. She was coming out to tie this game.
Kavan's gotten her twice via the strikeout. She is looking for her first hit in her first World Series. That could be trouble. On the run and that'll fall. Parker to second. And now the go-ahead run will come to the plate with 1 out. And a base hit for McEnroe Marinas. They pass the bat again.
We talk so much about barreling the ball up, and Oklahoma usually does that so well, but sometimes it's the miss-hits that find their way to be able to get another base runner here for Oklahoma.
Probably got a pinch run now for Parker as she moves over to second base. Cheney Helton is usually the first off the bench to do that. From one freshman to another, Gabby Garcia. The rookie who hits in the 4 spot in the lineup.
I think this is the bat you have to be careful of.
Just the 4th freshman in school history with a 20-home run season, joining Tiare Jennings, Jocelyn Allo, and Lauren Chamberlain. Her 21st would give them the lead.
Ball.
Come on, misses away. Garcia, 2 for 3 with a couple of singles today. Another chase on the 70-mile-an-hour rise ball from Kavan.
We've talked too much about Pickering and Parker as being the big slow hitters, but Garcia leads them in home runs. She's got 20 on the year.
During the regular season, Garcia hit 2 home runs in the series with Texas off of Tegan Kavan. One-two pitch. Struck her out. 2 down. And Texas is an out away from exercising the demon.
Gabby Garcia strikes herself out on this pitch, expands the zone. Look at the way this is a screwball going away, and that is a great pitch to a lefty. So elevated pitches earlier in the account. This one's elevated, but it runs away from Gabby Garcia. A massive strikeout for Kavan.
Second at-bat of the day for Hannah Core, who popped up her first time in there. Last chance here for Oklahoma, where they're into the loser's bracket on the other side of the bracket.
Two pitches called in the top of the zone. Sydney Barker frustrated. She struck out on the rise ball. So in her mind right now, coming this bat, she's singing, see the ball down. Don't swing at anything up in the zone. Excuse me, Hannah Core, that's her approach to this at-bat.
Got her! And Texas finally gets it done against Oklahoma at the World Series. Beating the Sooners for the first time in Oklahoma City.
And how about Tegan Kavan in the 7th inning? Hits a batter, gives up a hit, but 3 strikeouts to get out of the jam. Kavan, the sophomore, has been fabulous at the World Series. 16 swing and miss here against the Sooners, against a team that does not swing and miss a lot and does not strike out very often.
You guys, I got over the hump. I mean, this was a giant, this wasn't a hump, this was a mountain, this was Everest for this Texas team. Mike White told us, a lot of times you deny it. He said, when it is Oklahoma on the other team's jersey, we are mentally challenged. They have now done something they have not done since Mike White has been at Texas, since this team has competed in the World Series, and they have done it here today against a really good Oklahoma team.
Atwood hangs on to strike 3, and Texas gets the win, and they are into the national semifinals on Monday.
Texas win their first time ever at the World Series against